Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hola, hola. Hello, 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 everybody. Everybody, hello. Okay, it is February 25th, I think. 25th, 2020. February 25th, 2020. And it's 6:19 on a Tuesday night. The Democratic debate is happening right now. Right now,
is not to use our military to solve
well, we know who
problems
that is.
cannot be
Elizabeth
solved
Warren is talking.
militarily.
I don't know how I stopped
We
this.
are not winning.
There you go. So Democratic debate is happening today. I'm going to do a fight recap and then talk about the current state of affairs. I think that things are kind of getting crazy right now. Last month, they said that the coronavirus was not a problem. And today, it's a big problem. So I have sent out all the warning signs. I'm sorry, the precautionary measures to be taken to my direct family members, the ones that will listen. And starting people that I talked to about this a month ago are now calling and texting me that the measures that I should be taking in order to protect myself when they were sort of the naysayers or people that said that this would not be as bad as it is. And you better believe that this is worse than what we're being told. As I said a month and a half ago, that it was worse than what we were being told. And they're slowly but surely actually quickly increasing the numbers to what I actually said they were. I think I said, how ironic. Ambulance goes by. I said that anyway, the numbers were reported much lower than they actually are. And if you look at some of the videos that were coming out of China before, they're doing a good job of shutting it down now. But if you look at the videos that were coming out of China before, they were taking drastic measures, and the measures really crazy measures like sealing people in their homes. The streets were desolate in Wuhan, and I think even some of the surrounding communities. I saw a video a couple weeks ago of people that were sort of people that live in high rises, but were not allowed to leave. They actually are singing, chanting, kind of almost like uplifting spiritual statements or songs. I don't know if I know they're in Chinese, but I don't know if they're actual songs that are Chinese rituals or whatever, but they were to help people sort of feel like they're not alone, and to get people to be okay with being cooped up in their homes, to feel like they're not alone. So really crazy stuff. Well, so the announcement this morning from WHO was that the coronavirus it's not whether or not it's going to happen here. It's inevitable. So basically, they said this morning that it's almost inevitable or it's inevitable that it's going to outbreak here in the United States. I don't know. At first, I thought that this was a really strong and high possibility, but being that we have the president that we have and the drastic measures that he takes to exclude the United States from the rest of the world, and separate us from the rest of the world, and sort of the let's say nationalistic actions that are taken, um, that actually may have helped the situation. I think that sometimes we act out of compassion and behavior. I'm sorry, compassion, and our behavior is maybe not quick enough, and they set up a travel ban pretty quickly, and that may have contained the virus, at least um, prevented it from being or coming here as fast as it possibly could have. Now, here's the thing: they're claiming that this virus can travel through the plumbing. It's airborne. It can live outside the hosts. So this morning I read it was only a minute, but I have read up to 3 days, or longer. I feel like I read up to 3 weeks somewhere. So I don't know what's true. You know how the internet is now. It used to be a place where you could find the truth, and now it's really a place of mostly misinformation, which is kind of sad. And those of you who grew up without the internet and then had the internet, you remember there's a time when you can go on the internet and look for answers, and you would actually get the truth. And now the powers that be have muddled the internet into this place of, like I said, misinformation that really makes it difficult for you to find the truth, which I think is ultimately on purpose. But either way, um, try to find the truth when you can. Okay. So where were we? Okay, so we know that the coronavirus is, if I could get a list of countries right quick, I looked at this earlier today, but we know that it's in Spain and Italy. It's in the United States, of course. It's obviously in China, Japan. Coronavirus list. Wow, one of the first searches in this area is Orange County and or Irvine. So in the list, world list, world list. Let's try that. Sorry, I just want to give you a list of. I mean, you could look this up too once you. Okay. Do do do. Okay, there's a global map. So if you go on the CDC's website, they give you a list of uh countries. So there's another list that actually gives you a list of cases, the number of cases, and I should have looked that up before I started here, but I'm not going to read through the list. But the usual suspects. Actually, I will: China, Hong Kong, Macau, Taiwan, Afghanistan, Australia, Bahrain, Belgium, Cambodia, Canada, Egypt, Finland, France, Germany, India, Iran, Iraq, Israel, Italy, Japan, Kuwait, Lebanon, Malaysia, Nepal, Oman, Philippines, Russia, Sri Lanka, Singapore, Spain, Sweden, Thailand, Republic of Korea, United Arab Emirates. I didn't know it was there. UK, United Kingdom, United States, Vietnam. So I think there's 14 cases in the United States. I don't remember if there's been any recent cases here, but most sort of gripping information pertaining to this obviously is all of the deaths that have happened. I think it's 2,700 deaths in China. I trust me, that number is much higher than that. And the number of cases, I think they have certified it to be 70,000. I think it's probably double that amount because I thought it was 90,000 last month. So um, again, the internet is filled with misinformation, and I would be providing you with possible with the possible misinformation. So I don't know how many cases there are. I'm just telling you based on what I'm seeing coming out of sources that are trying to be controlled, that it's probably much higher than what is being uh, uh, um, disseminated over the news channels. Okay, so this has affected the stock market. They say, I'm not sure if this is the only reason, but the stock market has lost close to 2,000 points in the last couple of days, which is crazy. So basically, all in 2020 is gone. It's been wiped off. $1.7 trillion in U.S. Stock value lost in the last 2 days. It's a lot of money. I'm going to say that again. $1.7 trillion has been lost. Okay, I mean, it's everybody's, it's sort of spread around. Everybody's lost a couple dollars from their stock value. Doesn't really matter. Eventually, it'll go back up, but right now, it's lost quite a few points. Bitcoin also lost about $1,500 in total value, close to 15, maybe closer around 1,300. It's at 9,220, down from 10,000 on the weak side, 10,500. Ethereum, which, well, I won't say it's one of my favorite coins, but it is at $241, down from 290. So not well. Anyway, so it's down as well. And then I guess Super Tuesday is a historical day for the stock market. Typically, when there's a Super Tuesday, there is a decline in the stock market. So, or afterwards. So you can expect another decline tomorrow after this Super Tuesday, because I guess it has something to do with the possibility of new candidates being viable candidates against the current president, and the people who are worried about their current president losing to that person based on the show of support for um, the candidate that showed the best performance tonight. It's kind of silly, but that is the way we work here as human beings. Now, I'll talk about just a couple of other points regarding the coronavirus, and it is that, well, first of all, there's been a spike in Italy, which is weird. I think I don't want to spread it. It's quite a few cases have popped up in Italy. Don't know why. There's also 1,000 people locked in. I think it's called Tenerife, Spain. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but if the phonetics from the Spanish alphabet, I think that's correct. It depends on the emphasis, where you should put the emphasis on the word. But anyway, there's a hotel there that has 1,000 people, and there was one confirmed case, so all those people are on lockdown. And what I heard from some of the attendants there is that they're not even giving them food and water, so they're completely quarantined. So they can't leave their rooms, they can't leave the hotel. Kind of weird. It's a tough place to be if you're on vacation and all of a sudden you can't leave your room. Another strange thing about this is actually two authors, have written about this virus in previous books. I think one was written in the 80s. I don't remember when the other one was written. But one is called The End of Days. The other one's called The End of Days by Sylvia Browne. The other is called The Eyes of Darkness by Dean Koontz, who has written a number of novels. I don't know Sylvia Browne, but Dean Koontz is pretty popular. Anyway, Dean Koontz, I think, specifically wrote that the name of this virus that would have pneumonia-like or flu-like symptoms, and I could be connecting the two, or conflating the two, but meaning the two authors in the two books. But either way, both of them have written about it. I think Dean Koontz actually called the virus the Wuhan 400 and wrote about it being made in a lab outside of Wuhan. And I think the I think in the book, obviously I didn't read the book because I didn't even know this existed, I think in the book they're saying that it was somehow got out of the lab. There was a breach in the lab or something, and the virus got out. So, and that is something that was reported early on from China. So, just something to think about. These two authors actually predicted that this would happen. So again, Sylvia Brown, End of Days, and Dean Koontz, The Eyes of Darkness. Take a look at that. It's kind of weird. All right, so we talked about the debate. Now, here we go. So first of all, I just want to start off by saying I was 100% wrong about the Wilder Fury fight. And that's what's so hard about doing these kinds of, making these kinds of predictions, and also putting yourself in the public forum for scrutiny, for your failed predictions. But I have definitely failed today, or failed this past Saturday. I was stunned. I was shocked. I was dumbfounded. My face looked like, while this was happening, Tyson Fury may as well have hit me with the punch, because that's how my face looked watching that fight. I was so surprised, so shocked, that what happened, what took place. It was it was uh, it was unbelievable. I mean, literally unbelievable. And I really can't. Well, I can't explain it. I have searching for conspiracies is what I do. So I went down the rabbit hole of trying to figure out how this could have happened. What happened? Did someone threaten Deontay Wilder? There's all kinds of videos. I sent a buddy of mine who's a boxing promoter a video that I found on YouTube. Actually, I sent it to a couple of people. And then after I went back and looked at the video, I was like, why did I send that to him? I didn't even do any fact checking. So there's a video on, anyway, we'll talk about that in a second. I'll go back to the video. I'll write that down. It was a sad day for somebody, I think, who called himself the baddest man on the planet, and who was arguably the hardest puncher to ever grace the heavyweight stage. He was ragdolled. He was suppressed. He was beaten to a pulp. He was thrashed. He was strewn about. He was yanked and pushed and pulled and headlocked, punched in the back of the head, punched in the ear. He was destroyed. It was the equivalent of seeing a superhero like Superman being reduced to a mere mortal. And it was something that you don't get to see very often in your lifetime. So if you missed it, you should go check it out. Only if you were a fan of Wilder prior to the fight, and only if you had any kind of sort of support or belief that he would win the fight, would it be worthwhile seeing what happened. I have no explanation. I have listened to other people's explanations. Fury gave us an insight into what his game plan was going to be. He told us that he was going to knock him out in the second round. It would be funny if he actually went back and said, "Oh, did you think I said the second? I said the seventh." As sort of a stutter or a slip. But anyway, um, he said he was going to beat him up, and that's what happened. Now, what what he said he discovered was that in the last round when Wilder knocked him essentially flat out, and he returned from the dead and went on to fight some more. And other people, other podcasts have actually, other people, not podcasts, but just commentators and speakers and talkers have actually said that they thought that he won. He came back and dominated the round and won the last round. I mentioned in my last post that I did not think that that happened. And I'm going to go back and look at it again because maybe I was blinded by the superhero ness of Wilder. I don't know. I know I watched a fight once with a friend of mine. He was a fan of we were both split. So he was a fan of the other boxer. I was a fan of well, one of the two boxers. So we basically were fans opposite each other. And he watched the fight. The fight actually went my way in terms of the judging, but during the fight, he actually rounds that I thought my boxer won, my fighter, the person I was going for won, he actually thought his fighter won. And that's the subjectivity of the fight world. And essentially, Fury said that he was not going to leave it to the judges, and he didn't leave it to the judges. And it was a sad story for Deontay Wilder. So Fury noticed in the last round that if he attacked Wilder, if he went on the attack, if he was the aggressor, if he made him back up, he would dominate him. I just don't get it. This happens with Adrian Broner. I've seen it happen with him. I think it also happens with. I would have to look at what's his name, the guy who actually almost knocked out Mayweather. I can't think of his name. He fought Margarito and beat him up after they discovered that Margarito was trying to pad his gloves again or cement his gloves. But anyway, he learned and he applied. Well, first of all, he put on an additional 20 pounds or whatever it was, came in super heavy, 273 pounds, which I thought would affect his stamina. It probably would have if he had gotten past the seventh round. But Wilder came in also heavier, much heavier. And it seemed to affect him as well. He just didn't seem as fluid, didn't seem as quick. Now, I'll say something else that I said that I noticed. I mean, in the beginning of the fight, there were things. Wilder looked troubled. He looked like there was some kind of tragedy in his life, or something was on his mind. I saw it in a couple of interviews. He didn't seem as clear-headed and as focused, and he didn't seem like he believed. He did. I don't want to say like he didn't believe. He just didn't seem like this was the priority. No, first. And then I found out, I'm sorry, I saw later on that when they were waiting backstage for the fight to happen, Wilder had been pacing for like an hour. And one of the things I noticed about, uh, uh, one of the things I noticed about the best boxers and even sports athletes are that, or is that they're very relaxed before the actual contest, and he was not relaxed. An example would be Mayweather. Mayweather is lounging, like laying around like he's on vacation before the fight. He doesn't have any mean grimaces on his face, or he just is very loose and relaxed. And Wilder was not like that at all. And I don't know why. And he said that his legs were not right from the beginning of the fight, and they were not. They were not, and he blamed it on his 45-pound costume. I mean, it was a long walk up to the ring, walk out, or whatever they call it. 45 pounds is heavy. I mean, it's not heavy for an elite athlete to carry around. Maybe it's maybe it'll take off a round or two, but he didn't even make it to the championship rounds. Not even close. It was actually made to look like he didn't even belong in the same ring as Tyson Fury, which was very sad. Now he's an unorthodox fighter. He hasn't boxed for a long time compared to your average boxer that is a champion. Started at a younger age. It sometimes these things show up when you get to higher levels. I don't think that that was it. I do think that he didn't change his game plan. He didn't come in with anything new. And I think he thought he was going to knock this guy out like with one punch in the first round. And I don't know if Fury got in his head by saying he was going to knock him out, and he just felt disrespected. I don't know, but whatever it was, he needs to not have that happen in the next fight, if there is one. It would probably not be smart to have a rematch anytime soon. But truth be told, for him, he's pretty much irrelevant now. That he was beaten so decisively and so badly, to the point where the corner had to throw the towel in. And by the way, I heard that the corner man, who was not the number one corner man, but the number two corner man, which apparently number two corner man has to report to the number one corner man. There's a hierarchy, and the number one corner man is the guy who's supposed to throw in the towel, but the number two corner man is actually the person who threw in the towel. And that person was immediately fired when Wilder reached the dressing room. So, gone is that number two person in the corner. I heard that he actually is looking for a whole new corner group, which, if you paid any attention to what was happening in between rounds, somebody should be fired because nobody was saying anything that was worth listening to. And it seemed to be zero strategy going on. So, uh, so anyway, I was wrong, and I will continue to predict. This one was a hard one. I wish I need to find somebody who actually is a gambler so I can. I mean, I know I can look the stuff up on my own, but I would like to talk to somebody who's a gambler to see what they bet on the fight and what the outcome was for them. I don't know what the odds were. I think Wilder was probably the favorite. And if you're a conspiracy theorist like me, something was wrong. Very wrong with Wilder. I don't know if they had somebody tied up in the basement. I don't know what was going on. It could be just that Fury was so dominant, such a great fighter, that he turned over a new leaf from the last fight to this one and discovered something amazing and delivered that amazing discovery on Wilder's head. But it did seem a little bit odd Did seem odd. Go back and take a look at the beginning of the fight. You can see Wilder pacing back and forth. Maybe he was just scared. I don't know. But anyway, I was wrong. Wilder got his ass beat, and we're here with prediction fail. I do think I have another prediction fail in the can too, but I think I have I'm tied. Either I've gotten 2 right and 2 wrong, or something like that, or 3 right and 1 wrong. I can't remember, but I'm going to keep it up. We got something coming up here soon. I don't remember what the next fight is, but I stand corrected. Fury is the heavyweight champion of the world. He, I hope. Well, I hope he fights. I hope he fights Joshua. That's going to be a big fight for them in England. That's it, guys. I shall see you again. Maybe in a couple days, maybe tomorrow. Adios.